Søren Gade is Denmark's Minister of Defence. NATO Review caught up with him at a conference on the High North in Reykjavik in January to ask him about Denmark's perspective on developments in the region. How do you draw the line between civilian and military issues in the High North?
It is very, very difficult actually, because me, Minister of Defence, I have a lot of responsibilities in Greenland, but a lot of those responsibilities are actually civilian. Now in Denmark we have made it quite easy because those tasks belongs to me. So it's civilian tasks done by the armed forces. So I do not have a coordination problem with myself, but a lot of countries do have problems or challenges about coordination among the civilian and military part.
And you talk about coordination there. How difficult is it to coordinate the various challenges that the Arctic throws up, for example, coordinating the energy with the environment?
That's a very good question. I mean, the High North is on the agenda today, but in a few years' time it will be even more on the agenda. I see this seminar as a kind of a new start discussing the High North. We have a lot of challenges, not only today, but even more in the years to come when the ice cap is shrinking and you can develop oil fields and stuff like that in the High North. Now, there's no question that it's going to be dangerous. There's no question there's going to be a lot of environmental issues. And if you have ships in the area, if you're starting to explore oil in this area, you will have an effect on the environmental system. I mean, even though you do everything you can to protect it, it is not. There will be issues. Now, and we have to deal with those issues. We have to make sure what's going to happen if there's a ship is sinking or there's an oil leak and stuff like that. And there's not an easy answer to this, because you have thousands of miles of coastlines, and even though you do the same as you do in the waters back home, so to speak, it's still very difficult to remove the oil. I mean, you have the environmental is very tough, so there's a lot of issues to be dealt with, and we have to make sure that we coordinate our scarce resources among those states who have actually are stakeholders in the area. So, and even though we do it to 100%, we cannot solve all the problems. I have to, make a kind of warning today, saying that even though we do the best, there might be an issue. A ship is sinking, and we cannot deal with all the passengers, or we cannot reach this ship in due time. About the environmental affairs, even though we have done all the exercises, we have coordinated everything, but the oil leak is too big. We cannot deal with it. So there's a lot of issues, but it shouldn't stop us for coordinating, and that is the reason why a seminar like this is so important, because we hear a lot from different speeches, a lot of different points of view. The military side, the Minister of Foreign Affairs from Norway did a very good speech on the issues. And there's an audience, a big audience. Even a lot of colleagues and experts from the south in Europe, they are also here. They're present. So it is a problem and challenges for all of us.
How would you qualify the level of cooperation at the moment within the Allies?
I don't think the coordination is going far enough today. I think we can do better, and I think we can do better on the military side. I don't feel as there's an opposition against more cooperation. I just think we need to figure that one out. We need to put it on the table like we do today. Now in Denmark we have a good cooperation with Iceland. We have a memorandum of understanding. We are helping each other on the search and rescue issue. We're helping each other, training our the Icelandic Coast Guard and the Danish Navy have a very good cooperation. We try to do it in the framework of the Nordic countries, but I mean, we can still do better. I mean, we are still discussing among the Nordic countries how to help each other if there's an oil leak in the Scandinavian area. But having said that, I mean, we have to do even more in the Arctic area, and we have to to do more with our friends and allies and in the area, and of course also Russia. Russia is a very important player in this area.
Having spoken to some scientists here in the region, one of the things that's clear is that we know that we don't know enough. Is the lack of knowledge about what's happening in the High North one of the biggest challenges for the region?
It is. I mean, you have a lot of issues. You have the issues, the legal frame issue. I mean, who owns this area? We have the Ilulissat Declaration, where it's a very important declaration. I think we agree that it should all be settled by international law, so to speak. Now that's a good start, because then you do not have an arms race in the area. You do not, need to put troops in this area to show that it's kind of your area. So that's very important. But due to the fact that there might be a lot of oil in this area, it is, very high on the agenda in all nations, because actually you can be pretty rich if there's a lot of oil and it belongs to you, and you want to explore it. Maybe not today when the oil barrel is $40, but if it's 140, it could make a difference. So you're absolutely right. We do not know enough. We use a lot of money on research in this area. We do this in Denmark, but all those countries in the area, Russia, Canada, US, Norway, Denmark, other countries, they use a lot of money to get knowledge about this very vulnerable area. But you're absolutely right. We do not know enough yet.
Is there a danger that some of the problems may purely be about misperception of the issues in the High North, in that 4 of the Arctic countries are NATO allies and the other one is Russia?
We have to fight that image, because it's not NATO against Russia, but it is difficult, because when there was a lot of ice, and there was, and it will still be there we thought it might be there for the next 1,000 years. Well, there wasn't a big issue, but today there's an issue. So, but it's not